One famous bakery chain sells over 100 million cinnamon rolls each year, proof that this gooey treat is more than just a breakfast pastry. But how do simple ingredients like flour, sugar, and spice transform into a swirl of sweetness craved worldwide? How can something so ordinary turn into a product we cannot live without? In this video, we are pulling back the curtain on the factory secrets of mass-produced cinnamon rolls. From tropical cinnamon farms to high-tech ovens churning out thousands of rolls a day, you will see every step of the journey. Prepare for a mouth-watering tour inside the factory, where dough rises in giant mixers, conveyor belts carry coiled creations, and an irresistible aroma fills the air. By the end, you will know exactly how your favorite cinnamon roll goes from raw ingredients to the delicious treat on your plate, and it might just make you appreciate each bite even more. From spice to sweet roll, the origins. The cinnamon roll's story begins centuries ago. While many people think of it as a Swedish tradition, the concept actually traces back to 16th century Germany, where early cinnamon-laced buns called Schnecken, meaning snails, were first recorded. Cinnamon itself arrived in Europe long before that, introduced through Arab trade routes, but it was once incredibly expensive. Historical accounts say that Roman Emperor Nero famously burned an entire year's supply of cinnamon at his wife's funeral as a display of wealth. It was not until the 18th and 19th centuries that cinnamon became more accessible to ordinary people. Scandinavian countries embraced the spiced bun enthusiastically. In Norway, it became known as skillingsboll, while in Sweden, the modern kanelbulle emerged after the First World War, when butter and sugar became affordable luxuries. By the 1950s, cheaper butter allowed cinnamon buns to truly take off in Swedish culture. Swedes love them so much that since the late 1990s, they have celebrated an official Cinnamon Bun Day every year in early October, with millions of buns sold in a single day. On average, one Swede eats more than 300 cinnamon buns per year. German immigrants later carried cinnamon rolls to America, where they evolved into the extra gooey, cream cheese iced versions found in diners and shopping malls. In the mid-1980s, dedicated bakery chains transformed the cinnamon roll into a global commercial phenomenon. What began as a humble homemade treat had now been scaled into industrial production, while still delivering comfort and indulgence in every bite. From farm and forest, sourcing the ingredients, every cinnamon roll begins far from the bakery floor, with raw materials sourced from farms and forests around the world. Flour, the backbone of the dough, comes from wheat grown on a massive global scale, with hundreds of millions of metric tons harvested every year. This wheat is milled into fine flour and shipped in bulk to commercial bakeries. Sugar is next, sourced either from sugarcane grown in tropical regions or sugar beet farms in cooler climates. Sugar provides sweetness and also feeds the yeast during fermentation. Butter, or sometimes shortening, adds richness and tenderness. It is churned from milk produced on dairy farms and delivered to factories in solid blocks or liquid form. The defining ingredient, cinnamon, comes from the inner bark of the cinnamon tree. Most of the world's cinnamon is grown in Asia, with just a handful of countries producing nearly all global supply. Once harvested, the bark is dried, curled into quills, and ground into fragrant powder. Factories purchase this spice in large sacks, carefully selecting varieties that deliver consistent flavor. Other supporting ingredients include yeast, eggs or liquid egg products, milk or milk powder, and salt. At industrial scale, logistics matter. Large bakeries receive tanker loads of flour, liquid egg deliveries, and pallets stacked high with sugar and spice. Each ingredient is tested for quality before use, because consistency at this stage determines consistency in every finished roll. Inside the factory, from mixing to rising. Once the ingredients arrive at the factory, precision takes over. Automated systems weigh and measure hundreds of pounds of flour, sugar, and dry ingredients, while pumps deliver exact quantities of water, milk, and eggs. Everything feeds into enormous stainless steel mixers, each capable of handling enough dough for thousands of cinnamon rolls at once. The mixing process is carefully controlled. It starts slowly, allowing flour and liquid to form gluten strands that give the dough its stretch and structure. Butter or fat is added gradually to enrich the dough without weakening it. Within minutes, loose powders and liquids transform into a soft, elastic mass of yeast dough. Once mixed, the dough moves into fermentation containers or temperature-controlled tunnels. Here, yeast begins consuming sugars and releasing carbon dioxide gas. That gas becomes trapped inside the dough, causing it to rise and develop flavor. This bulk fermentation typically lasts between half an hour and 1 hour, allowing the dough to double in size. By the end of this stage, the dough is airy, lively, and ready to be shaped. Rolling and layering the dough. After rising, the dough is gently degassed and sent to sheeting machines. Large rollers flatten it into wide, continuous sheets moving along conveyor belts, forming a smooth dough carpet several feet across. Thickness is carefully controlled to ensure the final rolls are tender rather than dense. Next comes the cinnamon filling. A blend of sugar, cinnamon, and fat is evenly distributed across the dough sheet. Some factories brush melted butter first, while others deposit the mixture automatically. The air fills with the unmistakable scent of cinnamon as workers monitor coverage to ensure every roll receives the same flavor impact. The filled dough is then rolled into long logs using automated rolling systems that apply just enough pressure to form tight spirals without squeezing out the filling. Precision cutters slice the log into evenly sized portions, each containing a perfect swirl. These rolls are placed onto trays or into pans and sent for final proofing. Inside warm, humid chambers, they rest at approximately 40 degrees Celsius for 30 to 45 minutes, allowing them to expand once more. Baking follows in large conveyor ovens set at roughly 205 degrees Celsius. The rolls bake for around 12 to 15 minutes, emerging golden brown, soft inside, and fragrant. A brief cooling period prepares them for the final step. Quality control and testing. Producing cinnamon rolls at scale demands strict quality control. Automated sensors monitor color, height, and texture as rolls exit the oven. Weight-checking systems ensure every package meets label requirements. Metal detectors and X-ray scanners protect against foreign contaminants. Ingredient testing also plays a role. Cinnamon naturally contains compounds that are regulated in certain regions, so spice quality is carefully monitored. Hygiene is maintained through regular sanitation checks and microbiological testing. And finally, there is the simplest test of all: taste. Quality teams sample rolls from each batch to confirm flavor, softness, and balance. Not all rolls are made alike. Not every cinnamon-flavored pastry follows the same process. Some bakeries create cinnamon roll donuts by frying the dough instead of baking it. Others use laminated pastry dough, producing flaky cinnamon swirls rather than soft yeast rolls. Sticky buns add caramel and nuts to the process, requiring different baking conditions. Each variation uses different techniques, producing distinct textures and flavors while sharing the same cinnamon-driven appeal. From oven to outlet, packaging, and shipping. After cooling, many rolls receive icing. Automated drizzle systems or skilled workers apply cream cheese frosting or glaze. The rolls are then packaged using clamshells, trays, or sealed film. Some products are flash frozen for later baking, while others ship fresh. Each package is dated, boxed, and palletized before leaving the factory. Refrigerated or frozen trucks carry the rolls to supermarkets, cafes, airports, and bakeries around the world. Strategic oven placement at retail locations ensures the smell of cinnamon attracts customers the moment they walk past. A global cinnamon roll industry, cinnamon rolls are big business. Major brands operate thousands of locations across dozens of countries, selling hundreds of millions of rolls each year. In Sweden alone, millions of cinnamon buns are consumed annually during Cinnamon Bun Day. The global cinnamon spice market is valued at well over $1 billion, supporting farmers, manufacturers, logistics companies, and retailers worldwide. From forest bark to factory oven, the cinnamon roll has become a symbol of comfort, indulgence, and industrial efficiency. What began as a simple spiced bun has grown into a global food icon, delivering the same warm satisfaction with every swirl.